Hi, my name is Bethany and I am in Fort Campbell, Kentucky in the United States. This is my knitting podcast and I'm so glad you decided to join me for it. Hello again to my 93 subscribers. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I am so, what's the word? Thankful and feeling loved by the knitting community here on YouTube and Instagram and the cyber knitting community, I guess. I started this podcast just thinking I would just watch other knitting podcasts and see if I could bring a different flavor to that, and I think I do. And I'm so glad that a lot of you enjoy it enough to want to know when I upload another video. And to those of you who are just checking out the channel, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking it out. I hope you stay. And if you don't, just I hope you find a podcast that really hits your knitting taste bud well. I am wearing my knitted socks again. It is so cold for my toes right now. It's the time of year here in the Midwest where you wake up and you put your sweater on, and then sometime in the afternoon you just peel it off your body and you're so hot. And then in the evening you look for it again because it's chilly again. So it has just rained here for a couple of days and it's pretty cool. And we have carpet in our upstairs but not our downstairs, and I feel like that makes a big difference for my feet. So wearing my socks today because I need them, and they're the warmest socks I have, which is great. I think, oh, if you would like to follow me on Ravelry or on Instagram, you can find me at Yourhightness on both of those. I am the same username on both, and it is lovely to chat with people and see what they're working on and watch stories of progress made and everything. So feel free to check me out, and I'll make sure to check your feed out as well. I am drinking some hot chocolate today because I am a hot chocolate person. There are coffee people, there are tea people, and I am a hot chocolate person. There is no debate about whether or not hot chocolate is good for you. We all know it's bad for you. It just makes us happy. So whatever people talk about with coffee and tea and the benefits of coffee and tea, that's all well and great, but there is no debate about hot chocolate. Everyone knows it's liquid chocolate. Like, we're just drinking chocolate and that's okay. So grab your hot drink if you want. Grab your knitting if you want. Grab both if you want, and we will dive into the finished objects for August. The first finished object for August is the brown bunny sweater. Bunny sweater because it has these little ears on it and they are so cute. And my son, every time he wears it, he will hold them up while he's hopping around, and it's super cute. I like this bunny sweater design a lot, and now my youngest daughter has asked me if I can knit her a jacket, and I was just like, girl, I just finished knitting your sweater. I don't know if I'm ready for that type of commitment. But with this project, I had to make it a size. Oh, there's a little thing that is poking out. I had to knit it a size bigger than the biggest size of the pattern, and that took some real thought for me. I've never done something like that before. That's part of why I have really loved knitting with a capital K, is because it really stretches me, and with almost every project, I'm doing things I have never done before, and I really thrive with that. But because I'd never done it before, and I knew that the raglan increases would make any addition that I made in casting on exponential in the body and sleeves, I was worried that it was gonna just be huge. But it turned out really well. In fact, I think I probably could have added on more. I added, I think, 7 stitches to the cast on, and by the time I got to the end of the sleeves, I think I could have done a few more rounds before I split off for the body and the sleeves. But I was a little nervous about how billowy it was going to be. It turned out pretty perfect for his size, and I'm glad about that. I definitely didn't want it to be too small. But I think if I would have increased it a little bit more, it would have given him a little more room to grow into it, which I have a lot of children. And so this being passed down to his sister after he outgrows it is fine. And I can make him something else at that point. And this pattern, the fit for this pattern is very forgiving. So in contrast to another type of sweater, you have all this room to get their head in there, and then once their head's in, you can, you know, do that little button. And so it's really not hard to get, you know, sometimes when you're getting your kids' clothes on, their head is the part that you're like, oh, this doesn't fit you anymore because it won't go over your ginormous skull. And that's where my children fit in the growth charts. If you remember with the gray sweater, I actually have it right here. I have them, all 3 of them right here. Ta-da-da! The black one, of course, I didn't have any dye lot issues with. Oh, I just realized I never put the little leather tab back on this one. Well, I'll have to do that. With this one, you can see the line where the dye lot changed, and you can see it over here too, because obviously that's where I picked up the sleeves to finish them. So it looks symmetrical, and it looks like maybe a design element, but it wasn't purposeful, and I did not notice it until after I had washed it the first time. I am somewhat color deficient, and so I can blame it on that. Maybe I can blame it on poor lighting that I often have in the evening when I'm trying to finish a project late at night because I'm just this close to being done. But yeah, I had not noticed until I washed it the first time. And of course the black one, I didn't have an issue with that. I did this one second. And these, the gray and the black one, are the same size for my girls. The gray one's actually a bit big for my younger girl, but she wanted a gray one. And I assumed that my older girl would want the gray one. So when they made their color choices, I just made it bigger. So I came up with the same issue again with the dye lots. And it looks really stark on this camera actually, but I'm not mad about that. I'm glad you can see what's going on, because in real life it doesn't look this stark, but you can see on this sleeve I didn't have to fade anything, but on this sleeve I did. So the body and the sleeve actually kind of match, which is interesting. And when I got to this part before the fade, I thought, oh, come on, like, he's 6. Does it matter if it looks the same as the gray sweater with this line on it? And I decided it does. Not necessarily because of him, but because of me. If I learn how to fade something because I don't want this stark change in color, what's the point of learning that if I'm not going to do it, if I'm not going to improve my projects as I go? So it still has kind of this line when I switch to try to do the fade, but you can see the fades in there. I wish this one was a little more fadey, but maybe I should have pulled it back farther. And so this, and you can see here my tension was too tight as I was working with 2 skeins at a time. And this here on the sleeve too, you can see like this diagonal pull on there. But I think it'll just take a few washes to sort that out. And it's not as noticeable the more it gets touched and moved around, the softer it gets. With this 100% cotton yarn, the more you manipulate it, the softer it becomes. And then when you wash it again, it's like, it just remembers how it was knit and comes back. But the more they wear them, the more it just loosens up. And yeah, I really like this construction. I like the way that she has this done. I think I'm getting better at the ears every time. I think that's nice. I'm not a crocheter, and so the ears require some crocheting, and this little loop requires some crocheting. And at first I was a little bit upset about that because I bought a knitting pattern and I didn't understand why there were crochet skills that were necessary for it, but I'm not mad about it anymore. Maybe because I'm more familiar with it. I'm not any better at crocheting, but I'm more familiar with it. And so when I decided to go back and fade this color, I had to frog probably 10 rows or something. And then I got to here and I just finished it. I did the little garter strip and bound it off. And then when I tried it on him, I realized I had been putting the little hood on his head and just letting it hang from there. But of course a body takes up space. And so when he put it on his body after I bound it off, I realized it was too short. Too short being not as long as I wanted it to be. It was at like the middle of his belt line, I would say. But I want him to have some type of room to grow into it as much as is possible. And so I ended up frogging that garter belt off again and adding maybe 15, maybe 20 rows again, and then doing the garter belt again. And so I'm glad. I don't like frogging things. I don't know who does. I don't like it. But I do like things to be right. As right as they can be in this moment with my skill level. And so I am really pleased that it has worked out the way that it has. So that's the first finished object of August, and I was really glad that it was done. He was really glad that it was done. He was waiting, being so patient. It's made with, all of them so far have been made with the Lily Sugar and Cream yarn. You can get this pretty much anywhere. You can get it online. You can get it at Joann's. I think you can get some at Michael's. I don't think you can get it at Hobby Lobby because they have their own yarn line at Hobby Lobby, but you know, you could get something similar. And then I'm gonna have the other one that I'm doing is actually in this color. It took, I think, 4.5 or something for that, for the 4.5 for the bigger size. Yeah, this is what I have left from the black one. This is the 5th skein of what I have left, but me adding on that extra size for the brown one actually turned it from 4.5 to I think 7+. So I'm gonna have to go get more for the white one. I was not prepared for how much that size difference was going to make in the yardage of the yarn. But I'm really glad I'm prepared. I'm excited about that. The other finished objects for August, I can't actually show you right now because they were gifts. But if you go over to my Instagram page, you can see the photos of them. I did these gorgeous Bushtit socks. The Bushtit is a bird, and my sister is a birder, and we had this really silly group chat with my siblings about her finding the Bushtit, and we were just being immature and laughing really hard. And Ashen Bumble, if you haven't checked out her yarn, it's so, I say her, I'm assuming it's a woman who owns this company, but I don't actually know. Ashen Bumble, go check out their yarn. It's so beautiful, and just the colorways, I've been looking at them for a long time. and they have 2 monthly sock set subscriptions, and one is botanically inspired and one is a bird inspired one. And you can sign up for the monthly subscription, but also maybe she just dyes them to order, or she has some left over or something, because the previous months are on there that you can buy. And one of them on there was the titmouse. And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be great if she had done a sock set for the Bushtit, because that would just be perfect. And then I realized I'm not confined to that. Like, we all inspire each other. I can just make the Bushtit socks myself. So I actually had to look up what colors the Bushtit the colors it was. And wow. And they're so cute. So I am really pleased with those, and my sister's really pleased with them, which is even more important. And she says I've ruined her for any other socks, which is fun. That means I get to knit her some more. And I also made a frog and toad. They are little stuffies from the pattern is Frog and Cast. It's from Frog and Cast, which I am going to put all the patterns that I talk about, links to them, you know, anywhere, anything I talk about, I'm going to send, like, you'll be able to find it in the video description below. The Frog and Cast pattern it's so cute, so cute. You can head over to my Instagram to see that too. I did frog in a 100% cotton yarn, and it hurt my hands so much. I kept having to take breaks, and I really wanted to kind of fly through them, because I've heard that stuffies don't take very long, you know, because they're little, but you know, it takes a lot of shaping, and I've never made one before. So I used these. I used this one, which is the same. It's the Peaches and Cream, which is the same as the Sugars and Cream line. And then I used these, which are also a Peaches and Cream deal, for Toad's bathing suit, his like old school bathing suit. And I have an orange cotton yarn that I used for Frog's jacket, his little like cardigan jacket. And then the Croy socks, patent socks yarn in the flax colorway is what I used for his trousers, and those turned out really well. I forget the name of this yarn. I'm sorry. It is really soft, and it's a cotton yarn, and it's from Michaels, but I don't remember the name of it. Whoops. Should have thought of that. But the here was my epiphany. The cotton yarn was hurting my hands, and I just thought, the pants didn't hurt my hands though when I did the pants in the sock yarn, and I thought, okay, well, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to my local yarn store and get some sock yarn, just like some minis, and see how that turns out. And if it's horrible, then I'll just give it to my kids and do it again. So I got some sock yarn from Knitted Wit is the name, and this color is Tupelo Honey. Can you see that? Can I get closer? Maybe if I put it in front of my face. Tupelo Honey. And it is this really pretty tonal orangey brown, honey brown. And I held it double for Toad because of how thick that cotton yarn is. But even holding it double, the gauge was really different, and Toad turned out quite a bit smaller than Frog. He's supposed to be shorter than Frog anyway, but still too small. His bathing suit it was a little too big. But it's cute. It's all adorable. And I've just determined that if I want someone to be able to wash a stuffy sock yarn forever, I don't like, the reason I did it in cotton yarn is because I wanted her to be able to wash them. I want, when I receive something for my children, I want to be able to take care of it. And I wanted her to be able to do that too. She's really great about giving her kids like outside time every day. And they previously lived in Utah, and they would be in mountains and always doing these great hikes. And if they wanted to bring Frog and Toad with them, I wanted them to be able to. So the lesson learned there is sock yarn forever. Sock yarn forever. So I really liked those. I do have one finished object for September. It's not a finished project, but it is a finished object. I think that's the delineation I need to make with when I have just one sock done. It technically is a finished object, not a finished project. So this is Janie's birthday rainbow socks. She asked for me to make her some rainbow socks. And her birthday was last month. So I cast them on her birthday, which I think might be the smartest thing I've done in a while, is to actually just cast on their socks on their birthday instead of trying to get them done by then. I think I'm going to keep with that tradition. This pattern is by Tin Can Knits, the Rye Light sock. And as with many Tin Can Knits patterns, it goes from baby socks up to like large men's socks. And so that was really helpful for me because I was not sure about what the stitch count should be for a child's sock, and it was really helpful. I think another thing that's really, I'm just going to scoot up because I feel like I'm far away whenever I try to show you something. I feel like it's a really nice way to start with a sock also. It has, I changed a lot of things on it though. I did a provisional cast on and a double cuff for the top though. You can see it's like super stretchy. It's great. I'm not afraid of her like pulling them on herself. It's so awesome. This yarn is, this rainbow is from Hobby Lobby. I did not keep the ball band, the Hank band, but it's the only one like it in the hand-dyed tonal section. It's like the Yarn Bee authentic hand-dyed tonal section, and it's something like it has some type of galaxy name. Supernova, I think is what it's called. And this I got when I got the sock yarn for Toad, and it is also a Knitted Gems mini, and it is in hot pink, but the hot is like Haute, hot pink. That's what is going on with that, and it is perfect for her. This is her. She loves it. And it has you do this pearl front panel on it, which I think makes it even more kind of psychedelic, which is fun. I was debating on whether I wanted to do it, but I'm glad I did. And I think it's a great way to practice having a lace panel in your socks if you want to try that. To remember like, oh, I got to do something different on this part, have your little stitch markers. It was really helpful. And then I like how it being, I guess it's technically garter, not just pearls, but it's garter, right? And so it actually makes the sock, it would probably be more like this, but it makes the sock go in like that. And I think is a better fit for a little kid foot. So I did a mock short row heel for it, and I don't know how I feel about it. I want to try it again because, of course, my thought is that I should be really good at things the first time I try them. And so with the second sock, I am interested to see how well I'm able to do it. Because even with the short row, there's like these gappy gaps, and I just learned how to do the heel flap and gusset in a way where it's just like smooth. It's so good. There's no corner gaps, there's no side gaps, and so finding gaps in here, I'm just like, but I'm wondering if I just didn't pull my stitches tight enough. So I'm going to be trying that again. And I haven't washed them yet. I know they look a little fuzzy, but it's because she wore it all day yesterday. She was so happy that I finished one of the socks. She just wore one all day yesterday. It was so sweet. And every once in a while she would come up and be like, Mom, do you need to measure it? And like would throw her leg up to where I was, so that it was just adorable. And then I tried to do Kay Jones umbrella toe on here, but I think it actually just ended up looking more like a wedge toe anyway. I'm gonna try again. Yeah, socks are like the epitome of second chances, and so I have the second one. Moving on to whips, I have the second one on the needles now. I just finished the provisional cast on up here, like joining it together. It's so, guys, it's so stretchy. It's so nice. And moving on to the leg, I am going to have to like count rows because instead of making the leg 5.5 inches, I think, and this is a free pattern, so I don't feel bad about like talking about specifics. It's supposed to be 5.5 inches from the cuff, but I thought they were saying like 5.5 inches from the end of the cuff. So it's longer than it's supposed to be, but I just want to make sure they're as close as they can be for that. Oh, I still have a couple of whips from last month that I'm working on. I'll show you this new one and then I'll show you those. This is the next bunny sweater. I just finished putting the hood on both sides. So obviously I need to knit down to like a significant portion of it to be able to like meet the placket together and then knit in the round, which is my favorite part. Because for this part you knit flat. But what's nice about getting to this point is it can be somewhat brainless, like show knitting or whatever when you're watching your movie at night, because it's the same. You've got your little border here, and then you're working flat in stockinette on both of these. So if I can get this one done in September, then I will have the smallest sweaters, because my littlest son and her littlest son are the ones that still need bunny sweaters. And I feel like those will go so much faster. I hope so, because obviously they're the smallest sizes that I will be doing. Now, the last time we talked about this is the Jessie May My Secret Little Crop is what it's called. And I got past I've made maybe an inch more on the 3x3 here. I'm excited about that. I want to keep working with it, but the reason I haven't worked with it very much is actually because of this other whip that I'll show you in a minute. This is Holst Garn yarn, and I love the economical side to this. I love that it's inexpensive. I love that they leave the spinning oil in, because you're going to be washing that out yourself when you block it. I love that they do that, like that they save that expense just so that you can use it. But it does feel really rustic, but it's called the super soft yarn, and so I'm just holding on to that it's going to really plump up and be softer. But also I was thinking today that even if it doesn't, if for some reason I'm more sensitive than the average bear, I could add sleeves to it and make it a really cute little sweater, and then I wouldn't, yeah. So we'll see how it works out, because I am more comfortable with that now. I was wondering if I should frog it, because it's just not the most squishy yarn to work with. It dries out your hands pretty well, and feels kind of scratchy, honestly. But I know that that's because it hasn't been worked. And I almost just like rinsed the bottom in some water to see how it would bloom. And I might still do that. I'm on the fence about it. I'm on the fence about frogging it and choosing a different yarn to do this pattern with. I'm on the fence about it. I might frog it and choose a different yarn to use for it, because I have another idea of what I might use this for instead. And I'll show that to you in a minute. But I'm still thinking. And if I did choose to finish this, it wouldn't take so much yarn that it would make this huge cone unusable or anything. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And so that's from Jessie May, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking about whether or not I chose the wrong yarn for that. One thing I know I didn't choose the wrong yarn for is the Cala Galdana top from Heather and Hops. This is the top of it, right? And there's this little thing you thread through there, and then there are 2 more pieces that you do for the back to eventually connect together. And so I have just started the right back piece, and this yarn is so fluffy and so yummy, so squishy, so drapey, surprisingly. And I am very excited about this. I was trying to finish birthday gifts in August and trying to finish my son's sweater, but really all I wanted to knit on is this, and I'm obsessed. It's so squishy, so squishy. And so I finished this section for now. I'm going to be doing the other 2 sections for the back, which I think will knit up pretty fast because, you know, you're starting from here, so won't take long. And then I'm going to be putting them together. The one thing I'm trying to think of, she has this, I'm not sure if it's a braid or it's some type of yarn, you know, tie that goes through the neck to keep it together, which is beautiful. But I've been trying to think if there's another thing that I could use for that, because I don't think I want to tie it every time. I think I just want to like clasp it or something. But I've been trying to think through that and how and what I would use for that. I still have my blankets going. They are moving at a glacial pace, so I'm not really going to show those to you. I still have my tea towels set out for my project bags. I actually did subscribe for a month of the Bakery Bears Patreon, at least 1 month for the Bakery Bears Patreon, because she has this great project bag tutorial. Ooh, and I asked my husband if I could have a sewing day soon so I could get that done, get those done, because I love my Stitchy Girl sock little bag. I just keep socks in it constantly. Obviously you can use it for something else, but I almost always have socks going, so I love having this bag. I got a different bag at Hobby Lobby. It's got this llama print on it. It's super cute, but it's kind of big and it's got a zipper on it, and I think it would work well if I was taking blankets with me or something, but at this point it's not really small enough for a project that I would want to take with me. So I'm still thinking through that. And this is the yarn that I'm using for the Cala Galdana, is from Juniper Moon Farm. It's called Stargazer. It is Baby Llama and a Baby Llama and Silk blend. And it is in the colorway Terracotta. And it's so nice. It's so nice. Like, I love working with this. It feels so nice on my hands. I think the only thing I was telling my husband, as I'm knitting on it, sometimes I notice like my shoulders and my arms hurt, but I think it's because I'm excited and I like it so much. So I've been trying to chill out a little. As you can see, I got a ball winder. It's been amazing. I love it so much. I am having trouble not winding yarn just like every night. It's so relaxing. It's so wonderful. I went to Indiana this past month. My family lives, almost all of my family lives in Indiana, with the exception of one of my sisters. And I thought, you know what? My knitting journey, where I found myself in my knitting. No, I'm kidding. My serious knitting started after I moved to Kentucky. I have no idea what type of yarn fiber stores are in Indiana. So I went to the Black Sheep yarn store in Noblesville, Indiana. So cute. It's an old Victorian house that they've turned into a store. And it was lovely. When I went in, they were very helpful. My grandma, she's so sweet. She asked me, she saw my socks and she goes, she said, I like your socks. And I said, oh, thanks. I knitted them. And I need to stop saying knitted. Knit is the past tense of knit. So I knit them. And she said, what? You'll have to teach me how to do that, which is amazing because she's the one who taught me how to knit. So I said, Grandma, I would love to teach you how to knit socks. And I got the things that she would need for that. And it was a little hard for her. The needles were small enough and the yarn was small enough that it was hard for her to see and manipulate, especially because we were trying to work on it at night after my kids had gone to sleep. So I think what I'm going to do is steal them from her and finish them for her. Ask my mom to send them to me so that I can just knit them and send them back to her. I know she wanted to learn to do it, and I don't want to take that experience away from her, but I also am pretty sure she's really busy right now and she would appreciate, maybe I should just like not steal hers. Maybe I should just knit her some socks. But while I was at the Black Sheep yarn store, I was getting her some sock yarn and some knitting needles too, because I don't think she had any DPNs, definitely not small enough to do socks with. And I got this beautiful purple tonal yarn. It is so pretty to me, so pretty. And it is by Leading Men Fiber Arts. So this is their Show Stealer blend. So it's 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. And the colorway is called Gothic Queen, which I thought was great. I've never owned anything with cashmere in it before, and so I am really jazzed about this. I think I was originally thinking about making socks because it has nylon in it, but now I'm starting to think maybe, I don't know if this would be enough. I don't think this would be enough to make the Jessie May my secret little crop. So I'm not sure what to do. I was originally thinking socks, and I don't want to get caught in this like, oh, this is too special to do this with, because it's yarn. It's, you know, I guess it's what you pay for it or how you value it, but I want to do something nice with it. But cashmere socks sound lovely, and it's 10% cashmere. It's not like it's a bunch, but it feels very bougie to me. And so I'm thinking about maybe the special thing I could do with it is knit up the sock design that I've had in my head for a little while and see how well that turns out and see if it would actually be a viable pattern. So I think that's what we'll do with that. And I have loved winding this yarn. It's so lovely. The one thing that I'm realizing is that we're in September now and I'm still trying to finish up my summer knits. So I think what I need to do is just skip to what I would be wanting to wear in the winter, or what I would want to be knitting in the winter. And what I think I want to do is this cardigan. I think it falls under the name of cardigan because it's an open cardigan. And it's called By the Campfire by Unwind Knitwear. And it's just so pretty. It would be my first color work project, and it's a sweater. So, and it's kind of pixelated in this picture, so I don't know, but you can kind of see it. And this lady is pretty tall. She's 5'10", and I'm 5'4", 5'5" on a good day, on chiropractor appointment days. But, so I think it would work well, and I could make it longer if I want it to be longer. But I think it's beautiful, and I saw Heather and Hop's version of this, and it looked so cozy. Looked so cozy. So I think that's what I want to do next. I'm not sure what colors I want to do. It looks like she did gray and black and white. I'm not sure if that's what I want to do. Maybe, yeah. Maybe I'll do some searching and figure that out. And I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I think that's it. Probably feel like I'm forgetting something because I couldn't show you those two finished objects because they're on the feet of my sister and in the hands of my nephews. So that's this month. I'm excited to see what September holds. It's getting a little bit cooler here, but mostly in the Midwest, it's kind of like this yo-yo weather at this point. So, yeah. So I will see you guys in October. I'm excited about seeing what everyone's knitting for the fall. And I'm looking around because I'm sure that I forgot something, but I don't see what it might be. So I guess I'll catch you next time. Bye.